For far too long, the effective management of the customer's experience has been considered a soft skill. But today, successful companies recognize that the customer experience is king, or from my perspective, is queen. Welcome to CX Unplugged. I'm Gabrielle Gonzalez, your host, and in this series, you will hear from me and other industry experts about how prioritizing the customer experience led to amazing outcomes. Brought to you by the Multifamily Media Network. Hello, friends and colleagues. I'm Gabrielle Gonzalez here with you on CX Unplugged by the Multifamily Media Network. I wanted to pop on today because I recently saw some news about Spirit Airlines having filed for bankruptcy. And the thought of that really brought up a story that I remembered from our multifamily management industry. And I thought I would share it with you guys as just a quick tidbit for today. It is in the context of the fact that pricing is very important. Like we didn't know that already. But usually when we're talking about pricing conversations, we're referring to the fact that our price may be too much, right? We're always afraid of maybe residents not wanting that big rent increase. And so that may drive them to go someplace else. Or maybe our ancillary income fees are higher than someone else. And so we're always looking to make sure we don't outpace the competition by too far. Well, this is a small story about just exactly the opposite. And I guess let me frame it with the Spirit Airlines situation. So I never personally flew Spirit Airlines, but I have several friends and a family member in particular who absolutely loves it because it was so cheap. So she would get flights, from Denver to Indianapolis for $49. Or Atlanta down to Miami, Florida for literally $49. And, she was thrilled with this and always said, if I was maybe joining, she'd say, well, why don't you get Spirit? It's so much cheaper. And for some reason that just didn't, hey, I'm all about saving a buck, but that just didn't sit right with me. For some reason, $49, it just didn't, I'm thinking like, how can they even operate the planes for this cost? And that's just me. Again, no shade on Spirit Airlines, but they did just file bankruptcy. So anyway, from a consumer perspective, it just never appealed to me personally because it just didn't make sense. And so I never tried them. So the story in multifamily is this. I had a property years and years ago that I took on in my portfolio, and it was a 400 unit property, and they had lots of storage units there on the property. And they had not been renting those. I mean, I think the vacancy was literally like 82% vacant on these. And in exploring ways to strategically rent more of those, one of the questions I asked the management team there is, what are we renting these things for? And what are people telling us about them? And the feedback from the property was that, people either didn't really know that the storage units existed, or if they did, they just didn't see any value in it. And so they just didn't rent one, which seemed, really strange to me because if you're in an apartment, as we all know, there's not a lot of storage space, generally speaking. And so having an exterior storage that's, in the same building or corridor as your apartment unit could be a real value. And these were pretty big storage units. Some of them were 4x6. And I think the other ones, well, I don't remember exactly what the size of the other ones were, but I know one of the size was 4x6. So at any rate, I asked, well, what are they renting for? Maybe, the price is too high. And the manager there told me that they were renting for $10 each. And I thought, you know what? Maybe that's just too darn cheap. Maybe that's why people aren't seeing value in them or seeing enough value to even go and take a look at it and understand what the offer is. So, long story short, we raised the price of those storage units to $25 each. And I'm here to tell you that by the end of the next quarter, the occupancy was like 93% occupied. So that's a swing from 82% vacancy, right? Or let's say 18% occupied to 93 or 92% occupied in a little bit over the span of one quarter. And not only that, but they were vacant, showing a vacancy at $10 each, and we rented them for $25 each and got them all rented. Ooh, the lighting just got really weird for a second there. So anyway, point being is that price is an important topic, and it's something that we should really be concerned about, but not always because we're too high. Sometimes the price may just be too low to get your customer interested. I don't know. Just something to think about. And that was brought to my mind by Spirit Airlines and their recent bankruptcy. So hopefully that's something for you to think about, and let me know, connect with me on social media and let me know if you've ever experienced something similar, or if you take a look at your ancillary options and identify a way to maybe raise that rate and really get some momentum on occupancy. That's my story for today. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your week. Thanks for tuning in to CX Unplugged by the Multifamily Media Network. See you next time. CX Unplugged, where we have redefined who your customer really is. Join me next time to hear more missteps and masterful manifestations in the world of multifamily customer experience. Brought to you by the Multifamily Media Network.